Spring starts at the Home Depot, and we are bringing the heat to your backyard this season. Fire up the flavor with our wide variety of grills for under $300, like the Next Grill 4-burner gas grill that's perfect for hosting your spring cookout. Then set the scene and turn your outdoor space into the go-to spot with patio sets for every budget. Bring it this season with grills that deliver flavor and patios that set the vibe from the Home Depot. Start your spring with low prices guaranteed at the Home Depot. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
Bank of America champions everyone who dares to ask, what would you like the power to do? As a coach to 16 competitors in Augusta National Women's Amateurs, I ask myself this question every season. To help my athletes keep their eye on the ball, far beyond any course they play. Bank of America is proud to be a presenting partner of the Augusta National Women's Amateur.
Bank of America N.A. member FDIC.
Life is full of choices, but the choice between getting crispy chicken nuggets or a Crunchwrap Slider isn't one you'll have to make. The new Crispy Chicken Crunchwrap Slider at Taco Bell. All white meat chicken nuggets, breaded in tortilla chips, wrapped up, sauce and all, inside a slider-sized Crunchwrap. Choose from creamy chipotle or jalapeno honey mustard. Well, there we go. Life, still full of choices. The new Crispy Chicken Crunchwrap Slider. A brand new classic. Only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time and while supplies last.
More sail, cried the sparrow.
You're listening to the Sailing into Oblivion podcast, where we sit down with everyday people who do extraordinary things. I'm your host, Jerome Rand. Welcome back, everybody, for another installment, Sailing into Oblivion. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I actually sat down with Marc from the past episodes. Geez Louise, where do I even begin? Essentially, years ago, we came down here to get them sorted out on their Westsail 32 that they bought, Marc and Steph, and now, a few years later, we've come full circle, and the boat went up for sale. You may have seen it on the pages of Yacht World and all that sort of stuff, but essentially, it was what I still believe, one of the finest examples of a Westsail 32 on the planet. And congratulations and condolences, because they have sold it and are now moving on to different adventures. But Marc and I sat down today to just kind of talk about the process, talk about everything, and, a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of remembering. I mean, he and I sailed together on that quite a bit. We did about 2,000 miles one trip, and yeah, it was really fun to just kind of talk through the process of selling a boat, the good, the bad, the ugly, and hopefully you enjoy our conversation. Now, before we start the show, like I always say, if you want to help support this podcast by becoming part of the Patreon family, that one is absolutely huge. Just a note on that, you do get all of the podcasts plus some videos here and there, all ad-free. So no ads there. I always double upload to make sure that anybody who is actually contributing, they don't have to listen to any ads or anything like that. And so that's huge. Obviously, the one-time donations, those go straight to me, and those are via PayPal, Venmo, all that. And then we have all the links in the description for all the merch, shirts and sweatshirts and books and all that sort of stuff, and then sailingintoOblivion.com for those who want to reach out to me for either coaching or to have me as a speaker at an event, business, school, whatever. I'm always down for those. And or if you just want to reach out to the show, I want to hear something or about a specific subject, I am more than happy to oblige. Other than that, we are about ready to take off and head back out into the Atlantic. And quick little shout out to Robert and his family for becoming some of the newest members of the Westsail family. They just purchased one down in Guatemala, of all places. So that's pretty cool. We're always growing. We're always growing. So other than that, enjoy the show, my conversation with Marc. Thanks for listening. Here we go. We're live.
All right.
Hey. Any jitters this time?
Just the coffee jitters.
Nice. And thank you for bringing a little bit of
cheers
cafe Bustelo, yes.
Supplement your Nescafe.
Yes, yeah. I'm an instant guy. Never would have thought that. I was always French press forever.
Yeah.
That's how it all started. And
Yeah, well, out on the open seas, it's a lot easier to mix up an instant.
oh
cup
my
of
gosh,
coffee.
yeah. It's just and to be fair, the vast majority of injuries on a vessel are in the galley. Burns and
Yeah,
you think about a pot of boiling water getting thrown off the stove.
definitely. And a glass French press.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. I've seen those for sure. I have one on here, a glass one, but that's just for like now, on the dock sort of thing.
Right.
But again, yeah, I don't know. I've just gotten lazy in my elder years here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, congratulations, sir. And like I was saying the other day, what did I say? Congratulations or condolences.
Exactly.
'Cause
That's a
it's-
good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, but that, like I said, that old saying, the 2 greatest days in a boat owner's life, the day buys it, the day they sell it.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
Well, I can see the truth to that. The feeling now is kind of relief. But yeah, the range of emotions through the whole process was pretty extreme.
Yeah.
It wasn't an easy decision at all to make that decision to sell the boat. But we're fortunate, really. We sold it less than 6 months. It was listed.
In
so,
this market too.
Yeah.
Which is,
yeah.
when you first kind of approached me about it, I remember thinking like, oh man, you should probably hold on to that for like another year.
Yeah.
See what the market does. But
Yeah, I mean, we did a big price reduction, of course, which wasn't a surprise. We started out at kind of like what we bought it for plus what we put into it. Not like completely what we put into it, but the big things like the hydrovane and the solar.
oh, I forgot you put the hydrovane on.
Yeah, we bought the vessel, put on the hydrovane while we were in Pensacola.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and then we did the solar. Well, your brother did the solar.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Shout out to
Shout out to Adam Ruski.
all the work he had done. I was gonna call him, and let him know, but it really reflected well in the survey.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was top notch.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it was so great.
Yeah, I mean the solar, and not only like that it's functioning, but it looks good too.
Yeah,
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 It's all like primo and nothing's crooked and all that sort of stuff. Which
yeah. And you expect it now on an offshore boat. You got to have some solar capacity. So
yeah. Oh no, totally. I mean, gone are the days when it was just basically run your engine. That was the only thing you could really do.
right.
But there was also way less electronics.
Yeah,
So the power draw would have been way, way different, 30, 40 years ago.
right. Exactly.
But,
Yeah.
ah,
But yeah, it was pretty smooth all in all. We had a great broker. We used the same broker that we had bought the boat from originally.
yeah,
And Seth, he was fully knowledgeable about the boat, very excited about the boat.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like what drove that decision. He wasn't local, so we said that we would do the showings, but we just kind of wanted him for the survey and for the closing.
right.
And so it felt good. He had a big presentation when he was at Annapolis for the boat show, and
Yeah.
he loves the boat. So for him, it was an easy to sell.
The word got out. Well, yeah, I'm sure he was excited. He was double
Yeah,
dipping.
yeah, yeah. Those guys earn it though.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and his behind the scenes crew, they were super efficient. The gal who handled the paperwork and
Yeah.
everything was really like top notch. So,
That's really the beauty of using a broker is that they take care of all that stuff, and there's no like trying to figure out how and what you have to do and this,
Yeah.
that, and the other thing. And then it's also, I would expect it to be like ironclad when it's over,
right.
and you can just be like, done.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a good experience listing with him and then having the boat. It got a lot of attention on social media. I asked you for permission to use your boat tour video.
That was a good video. It's gotten a lot of, I don't know how many views that thing has, but it's up in the ranks as far as my page, which is pretty humble, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like your 5th or 6th most popular video.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's cool because is, for just posterity's sake. Like that
Yeah.
boat is such a weapon.
Exactly.
And it's great to show it off in its sort of, I guess you call it like its virgin. Well, it just hadn't been really lived in yet.
Right.
When I did that video.
Yeah,
You
because
guys.
it was like the boat after the original owner did his refit. I mean, the head hadn't been used, the galley hadn't been used. I mean, we were, it was definitely.
I'm still
we were-
super jealous of that the gold sink in the head.
Yeah, with the granite
I
countertop.
look at mine and I'm like, man. But whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the listing Seth also put up the original video, that his interview with the owner.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Talked about the history of the boat.
Which was really interesting.
Yep. And then your video. There was a link for our YouTube page. So anybody looking at the boat had a really in-depth idea of where it came from and what we had been up to.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Well, and if anybody was listening to some of the podcast stuff that we were doing on our trip, I mean, we've made it 2/3 of the way to Bermuda and back. We were out there 16, 17 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's...
Yeah. The majority, we had 5,000 miles of cruising in the 3 years, and you were with us for half of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which is
Freaking lucky boy right
and-
here, man.
and the best trips. I mean, the circumnavigation of the
That one,
coast.
that was pretty memorable for me, man.
That was our first.
What a beating.
I mean, we were 50 miles offshore, and I was getting like, "Oh man, we're a long way away."
We should turn back to the island, man. Don't worry. Do you remember that? We're sitting you and I were sitting in the cockpit, and we're like desperately waiting for that wind to shift. And I kept kind of being like, it's supposed to have already happened. Because as soon as it shifted, it was like a total game changer. And then we were reaching across the wind, headed exactly where we wanted to go.
Yeah, that was huge. That we were like I was mentioned before, it almost seemed like the breaking point, though you can't break, but it felt like, right, we're almost to the breaking
You're
point.
like, I
but-
can't do this anymore. Well, it was like 3 or 4 days of bashing into 20, 25 knots, trying to just sort of stay close to our course. And
Yeah.
Steph was
yeah.
a trooper on that one, I tell you.
Yep. She didn't want to come today for this. She thought she'd be too emotional.
Oh, yeah,
And then
yeah.
if she lost it, I'd lose it, and then
Right,
you
and
would
then I'd
start
lose
losing.
it. Montana, no.
But
It's too funny.
yeah,
Well, it is.
yeah.
I was thinking about it. It's kind of like a breakup in a way, and you think of like your first love.
Yeah.
And it's like you're never gonna forget your first boat,
Right.
And even though it's kind of a one-sided thing, it's not like the boat tried to divorce you, but still, there are, like Steph was saying, there's these boats. They're not just boats. They're not just floating objects. There's something about them. They take on a personality, and
Yeah,
they
definitely.
become part of the family.
Oh, definitely, for sure. Yep, we'll miss her, but we're glad she's in good hands. And I mean, I knew it wasn't. Even when we bought it, it's like, this is not going to be an easy boat to sell,
Right. They're unique for sure.
And that one having been brought to that level of finish, just put it so far above the average Westsail price wise.
Yeah. Well, there were people that I talked to. They were like, "There is no way that thing's gonna sell," because they just looked at the price compared to all the other ones that are out there.
Yeah,
But
right.
all the other ones that are out there don't look like that.
Yeah.
And they're not as well founded. I mean, just even being on the boat again yesterday and looking down below was a good reminder of like, oh yeah.
Next level.
Yeah, I get back to Spirit. I'm like, I better clean this thing a little better.
Oh, it's great to be here. This is very cozy, home-like.
Very much like a TGI Fridays in a way. I got enough stuff on the walls here. I got, that see that little piece of wood next to the porthole there with the diagram of the boat?
Yeah.
That was given to me by this guy I met up in Southport last year. And we chatted. I ended up giving him a copy of the book. And he was like, hey, man, last night I did some woodworking and burning. And so he burnt that whole thing in there. I was like, oh, my God, this is so cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So you get these little trinkets and things that
Yeah,
give you?
it was funny. We had never really taken the step of putting anything on the walls just because we were like, it's so beautiful as it was.
Yeah, right.
And then we were like, well, what's the first thing we should do? And if had we kept the boat, I think the first thing we would have put up was a picture of us with the original owner when he sold it to us.
Oh,
Yeah,
right on.
'cause
Yeah, those moments, man.
Yeah, he would have definitely deserved a spot on the boat. It's funny that sailboat, like that's the kind of diagram you see on sailboat data.
Yeah.
But we were at last year when we went to the Bahamas. We were in West Palm Beach, Lake Worth, at a marina just the night before the crossing, and a gal who worked on the dive boat that was parked next to us, she comes up to me and she pulls her sleeve up.
Oh, she had that
And
on her
she
arm.
had that. She's like, my dad owned a Westsail 32.
Yeah, there's something about these boats, man. They get into people's soul.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I was thinking
That
about
would be a cool tattoo.
Yeah. I was thinking about the Westsail community kind of has built up since we first met 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jeez.
Tiffany and her refit.
And even Roberto. I mean, we got to see Persephone over there, parked just on the other lane, and he's headed back to do some refits in April. Although you never met him, but at least you saw the boat.
Yeah, saw the boat, and then all the YouTube personalities. Colin, Denker.
yeah, little Denker up there,
yeah.
and then
How much of I was thinking about that because you said he's on a Westsail now. Did he choose a Westsail a lot from your influence?
You know, I don't know. I think it was just the timing was right, and he I think he found that his boat, after sailing it out to Hawaii, he liked it and he put a ton of money into it and he knew it through and through, stem to stern, but I think he felt like it was just a bit too tiny.
Right.
I could be
because
overselling.
it wasn't like 28 feet.
I think it was like 28, yeah. And when all of a sudden this idea of, there's this Westsail that he could get for a really exceptional price and kind of trade the boats out essentially, it sparked his interest. And I know he wanted to get over to the Atlantic so he could go do the Med.
Right.
So that was a big part of it. And I don't know. I think for him, one of the hard parts was that he went from a boat that was just, he had put so much work into and he had it just like dialed in, to then hopping on a boat that, had been kind of sitting there for a number of years and needed to be dialed back in.
Yeah. Right.
And a Westsail 32 is they're older boats, so they take a lot more work to dial them in and everything. But he's doing it. I mean, he's got new Dodger. He's building all this stuff, changing it, making it his own. And it'll be really interesting because the last time I was on it with him was when he took possession of it last year. And I'll probably go see him in April and see the changes and stuff and see everything. Because it was an interesting boat. It was, I don't know if it was factory finished, but it was the previous owner of the previous owner had completely changed the interior of the boat. Like here where we sit at the dinette was kind of a 2-level berth. And then over there was a mini dinette that only sat 2 people.
Okay.
With a big pole coming down to hold on to. And then it had a very similar nav setup to yours where you're facing forward and you have the little nav table.
Did he have a pilot's berth?
No pilot's berth.
Yeah.
So that was just locked in there. And his has a lot of the shelving and stuff that sort of separate the galley from here and all that. A unique boat, definitely.
Did he change that around?
The previous owner did.
Okay. But
he had basically taken it from, I think, this setup, or maybe it was just the double settee setup where it's 2 couches,
But Colin's leaving it as it is.
Right now he is, yeah. And he's going to, because that was one of the things he, like we all do when we get our boat and the boat's on the hard or you just haven't sailed it yet and you're trying to make it your own and you're thinking of all these things that you want to do to the boat. And I always tell people, well, go out and sail on it first and see what you really think. Because, I mean, you know, I had a million different ideas on this boat until I started sailing it. And then I was like, well, there's a reason it's this way, or this works, and I'm not too worried about that, and that sort of thing.
Right.
So, and he'll get there.
Yeah. And then James Hodge with his
Yep,
Westsail.
gray beard up there, friend of the show. Hopefully get to help him out a little bit with some of the rigging and stuff. Yeah. I mean, that boat, again, that one was, again, so funny that he got that up in a lake in Tennessee, but that boat was purposefully bought because he wanted to work on it from the ground up.
Right. He wanted that taken on.
Yeah. So unlike Tiffany, who basically bought a boat that she thought was, or was told was basically good to go, and then found out it wasn't, and now she's had to go through that whole thing. Hats off to her as well.
Oh,
Jeez.
Incredible. Perseverance.
Tenacity, perseverance. Like
That's going to serve her well when she's
I
finally,
know. I know, right?
finally out there.
And you know, it does always lead to she's gonna know every screw and bolt in that boat. You know?
Yeah, we questioned that when we started looking for boats. We kind of came to the conclusion that we were willing to spend a little more to just get out on the water.
Yeah.
And a lot of the tired boats that we looked at for they were half the price, but that's still a lot of money. They just needed so much work. We're just like, it's going to take forever to get out on the water. So that was how we justified buying such an expensive boat up front, but it got us out immediately.
Yeah. Well, that's the balance of like how much are you willing to I guess it comes down to how valuable your time is.
Yeah. And I think if we had started younger, like definitely in my 20s, I definitely would have had a project boat.
Give me the biggest heap you got.
But and then there's the I know like people talk about your influence, like you definitely were an influence on us choosing a Westsail.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely, because when we were researching blue water boats, we looked at a Tiana and we looked at a Baba 30. Those are the two examples that the boats just needed so much work, that we kept moving on in our search. But then when I came across your channel and started seeing what you accomplished with a Westsail 32, that really had a huge impact on our decision to go with the Westsail.
Oh,
and I think that Westsail owner over in Amsterdam, she's got a new page on Instagram. I think we talked about.
Sailing vessel Callisto.
Yeah,
Shout out to Leela.
Yeah, Leela said in one of her videos that you were a big influence on buying a Westsail.
Yeah, she and I, we've emailed back and forth a few times, and she definitely read the book, and I think she posted about that, which is always awesome. I love seeing that.
Yeah.
People will send me pictures of their bookshelf on their boat.
To see yours,
yeah. Amongst like Voyage for Madmen and this and that, and they're sailing.
Yeah, you were right up there
with
with Robin Knox and
it's like
all of Slocum, and then Sailing into Oblivion.
Yeah, I know, right? It's all because the title is good, I think.
Yeah.
Best part about the book.
Yeah, that's what I had to explain to my kids when I said, yeah, we're coaching with a guy from Sailing into Oblivion. But that's not our goal. We're not going to sail into Oblivion. But.
It does have an ominous tone to it, that's for sure. I'm trying to figure out what the title of the next book is going to be. Because I kind of want to, ideally, it'll end up being like 3 books, maybe even 4, over the span of my life. Because it is pretty hard to do that. But, and I was thinking, like, it could be like Sailing into Oblivion, and it's like Sailing into Danger, Sailing into the Wave, Sailing, that sort of thing. But I don't know if that'd be too hokey or not.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So would the second book be the knockdown?
Yeah, the second book is essentially the story of the 2022 trip and getting knocked down, and it's going to be interwoven with all these different examples of, like, learning the lessons the hard way throughout all the years of sailing. And I think I even in my outline notes, I think I even draw back to some of the like deliveries and stuff that I did as a crew member. But a lot of it, most of it's going to be, lessons learned, training and solo sailing and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I don't know. I think it's
a worthy story.
I think so. I think if I can do it right, the goal is that it's going to make it so all these lessons that I learned in the past were very poignant as far as me making it through that night. So I'm hopefully going to be able to interconnect everything and make it obvious that like on that trip, when I did that and screwed that up and learned, that was how I knew how to do that night,
right,
so to speak.
Oh,
and
yeah, I can imagine.
If I can do it, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say it'll parallel your presentations really well because, when you did your presentation in Fort Pierce, the first one was your around the world trip presentation, which was great. And that reflected the story, the book that you wrote. And then your second presentation in Fort Pierce was the knockdown.
Yeah.
And so, your books are well received. I mean,
people still buy them every day. I can't believe it. It's because that book's been out since 2019, I think. At least it was available on like Kindle at that point. And then I finally got it in, hardcover and paperback and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, most books, if you self-publish on Amazon, they might sell 250 copies, and then that's it.
Yeah, and they're all family members and friends.
Right, exactly. So
no, you got a far-reaching on it. One of the guys who looked at the boat that when we had Montana for sale, the first guy who looked at it was from Michigan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he called you.
Oh,
yeah.
Was this Derek?
I can't remember his name.
I think so.
But he's like, he was really excited about the boat, really excited. And then the last thing we heard from him is, I'm going to buy Jerome's book and kind of get an idea of, because he raced sailboats. And he's like, I'm just worried that it's too slow.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
All right, well, you need to talk to Jerome about slow Westsail. But anyway, he bought your book. Then we never heard from him again.
Yeah,
I don't know if it scared him off or what, but
yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, he definitely kept mentioning that when we talked about the racing stuff and the different boats that he goes on, and it did kind of seem like, I don't know if it would have been the perfect fit for him.
Yeah, I mean,
Right,
if you're looking, if speed is your prime, it's all a big, it's all like how you look at it because
your frame of reference. I mean, and what you enjoy, because that's like, if you enjoy just being out there and being very confident in the vessel, and you're enjoying the day of sailing or the week of sailing out to like Bermuda or something, then, and you're not in a hurry, then a Westsail is like perfect because you can kick back and relax. And when that forecast comes in for 35 knots, you're not like freaking out.
Yeah.
But if your goal is to be able to zip out to places as fast as you can and all that,
you're not
different boat,
right? I mean, but then look at your speed records, which was right after our Bermuda attempt.
Well,
you left and went
had
north.
That clean bottom. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, right.
200. What was that? 224 miles, I think, something like that.
In 24 hours, right?
In 24 hours.
That was awesome.
Very much the Gulf Stream.
Sure, but I mean, I bet you a lot of records are boosted by currents.
Well, the big one though was that freaking surfing those waves in the South Atlantic when I was heading back north. I mean, I was being very cavalier at that point, but it was kind of like the last gale that I was going through, and I was commonly seeing high teens, and then I saw 20.9, I think, and I was like, oh baby,
like triple the hull speed of a Westsail.
Oh, we were just falling down these freaking waves, and they were big because there's a little bit of a countercurrent, so they were steep, but it didn't matter. That was it was one of those things where I was like, once I get through this, the faster I get out of this, the closer I am to the trades.
Oh yeah, you must have been flying high at that point, dude.
Oh my God, yeah.
Flying. So that makes me think of yesterday when we were talking, because you said that you bought Sparrow and then left for your around the world trip 9 months later.
Yeah,
that's to me talking about people who buy boats in refit.
Yeah, right.
And in that time, in that 9 months, what did you say? How many training miles did you get on the boat?
I did about 10,000 or so because it was essentially I left right at the a day or two before New Year's in 2016. And that was my dad and I leaving from Jupiter, sailed to the Caribbean, offshore route. And then I sailed inner island stuff for the whole, I don't know, until about April. And then I did a 26-day trip just out into the Atlantic and back. And then did the trip going up back to Gloucester and then Maine. And
So it didn't even come out of the hard. I didn't go on the hard until like end of May.
Oh no, it was well into June. I think I got up there like mid-June.
And you had it ready to go by.
Well, I had been working on it, obviously the whole time, but it was basically I just wanted to. The biggest thing is provisioning and getting all the spare parts and all that stuff, and I had those lists already there, so I just had to click the order button. But the other big projects were essentially for me was to rip all the old teak decks off and change those to non-skid. That didn't take all that long, which was pretty surprising.
And you put all new running rigging.
No,
or standing rigging.
We only added, and that was where I had Larique, the rigger up there in Maine, best in the business up there. Anybody that needs him. I had him put together a fixture to add that second backstay. And then there was another guy who did the stainless reinforcement for the boomkin.
Okay.
So I had that built. I ordered the new Aries, which I had to take the old one off and then, install the new one, which is a bit of a project for sure. And then other than that, just...
Spring starts at the Home Depot, and we are bringing the heat to your backyard this season. Fire up the flavor with our wide variety of grills for under $300, like the Next Grill 4-burner gas grill that's perfect for hosting your spring cookout. Then set the scene and turn your outdoor space into the go-to spot with patio sets for every budget. Bring it this season with grills that deliver flavor and patios that set the vibe from the Home Depot. Start your spring with low prices guaranteed at the Home Depot. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
Bank of America champions everyone who dares to ask, what would you like the power to do? As a coach to 16 competitors in Augusta National Women's Amateurs, I ask myself this question every season. To help my athletes keep their eye on the ball, far beyond any course they play. Bank of America is proud to be a presenting partner of the Augusta National Women's Amateur.
Bank of America N.A. member FDIC.
Sometimes you want the full cocktail experience and the freedom to say yes to more the next day. That's where Ritual Zero Proof comes in. These high-quality alcohol alternatives are crafted to bring the bite, flavor, and vibe of real spirits without the alcohol. Mix an agave spirit margarita, pour an aperitif spritz, or sub in whatever fits your go-to. Each one swaps in ounce for ounce, zero proof, and low to no calories. More flavor, more moments, no trade-offs. Ditch the rules, keep the ritual. Find yours at ritualzeroproof.com.
Life is full of choices, but the choice between getting crispy chicken nuggets or a Crunchwrap Slider isn't one you'll have to make. The new Crispy Chicken Crunchwrap Slider at Taco Bell. All white meat chicken nuggets, breaded in tortilla chips, wrapped up, sauce and all, inside a slider-sized Crunchwrap. Choose from creamy chipotle or jalapeno honey mustard. Well, there we go. Life, still full of choices. The new Crispy Chicken Crunchwrap Slider. A brand new classic. Only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time and while supplies last.
Building the huge little storage unit, which basically went and covered up this whole area.
Right.
So that was just a big cabinet with just openings and bungee, so I could just reach in and grab stuff if I needed to.
It still seems incredible to me. Buy a boat, 9 months later.
Go for it. Yeah.
Go for it.
It was a bit of a gamble because previous to owning Sparrow, I'd never solo sailed before.
Right.
So I didn't even know if I could do it.
Right.
I just kind of had this dream, and it was a fire in the belly, and it has to be because
for something like that.
Yeah, it's so daunting. The only good part that comes out of having so many tasks to take care of before you can leave is that you're so overwhelmed you don't have time to sit there and think about what you're doing.
Yeah, right.
You're not
too busy to be nervous.
Yeah, exactly. Once you set sail and then you start looking at your chart and you're like, oh my gosh, that's when the fear really starts to kick in.
Yeah.
But you deal with it. I mean, like I said, you have to be so many different things, I think, as a solo sailor or just a sailor in general, like an offshore sailor. And one of those things, especially for the solo aspect, is you have to be your own psychologist.
Yeah.
And because your brain, I used to think I always had control over my brain and my thoughts and all that. And then I don't know I think it was the 2020 trip where I got turned around in the Atlantic and couldn't go through the passage. And I was out there and I didn't really know where I was going. And there were so many hurricanes and it was so stressful. That was one where I was like losing my stuff.
Yeah.
And
that was at
scary.
the height of COVID.
Yeah.
And you went all the way over to the Azores.
Yep.
I mean, I can't, that's like as incredible as like going around the world that you attempted to go through the Northwest Passage.
Yeah. Make it to the Labrador Sea.
Got rebuffed.
Boom.
Went to the Azores because
get out of the hurricane path. That was my big fear because those suckers sweep up the coast and, turn into these massive low pressure systems off of like Nova Scotia and all that.
Right.
And the further east you can get. The cheat code, though, is you're at such a high latitude because I was just underneath Greenland at that point that the Great Circle route, the distance is so much shorter. So you get to the Azores like in no time.
True.
Yeah, compared to like if you tried to leave like Cape Hatteras and go.
Yeah.
I don't know if the distance would be half, but it's pretty darn close from where I was having to start.
Still though.
Yeah.
But talking about the mental aspect, and then from the Azores, where did you go?
Then I just headed mostly just southeast.
And no one would let you come in, right?
Right. It was a big question mark because some countries, like I think I kept hearing stories of sailors trying to pull into Newfoundland and being thrown in jail
because of COVID.
Because of COVID, yeah. And I was like, whoa, okay. So obviously I'm not doing that. And then it was just such a weird time in the world.
Oh yeah.
That I'm sure if I needed to pull in somewhere, I could have.
For emergency.
For an emergency, yeah.
That, really.
I don't know if they would have allowed me to like pull up to a dock though. It might have been like I could go anchor somewhere. But you know me. I don't have an anchor. Well, I have the anchor, but it's not set up. Everything's stowed. There's no windlass up there and all that sort of stuff. So,
crazy. Because I think back to the mental uncertainty we had just as citizens living our normal lives. That gets disrupted, and you're on a boat by yourself, middle Atlantic, trip completely rearranged.
Yeah. I know it was definitely pretty interesting. But some people were like, "Well, you were lucky, man. You were out there. There's nothing." I was like, it was so isolating, and but I do wonder had I come up with some sort of new passage because I knew I didn't want to go around the world again, at least in the same route. And I did toy with the idea of trying to go around the opposite direction. But again, I had that giant fuel bladder and it was always a little bit leaky. And that was probably one of my biggest concerns on that whole voyage was the 250 gallons of diesel sitting right here
in the middle of the boat.
Which I'll tell you what, if you really want to give props to the build of a Westsail, I mean, the fact that cabin sole could handle that weight.
Yeah.
And, we didn't see much heavy weather, but there was one system that we had to go through in the North Atlantic that we were getting bounced around pretty hard.
Oh, my gosh. 250 gallons of diesel in a bladder. Sloshing around.
Well, I mean, it was pretty wedged in because remember, I took the head doors and continued those right over the top. But still, if we would have, the worst case, you get knocked down, that thing would have definitely blown all through all that stuff, probably torn. And now I got all that diesel, and there would have been nothing. I would have had to pump it all out.
Yeah.
I would have had to bucket it out. Oh, it would have been so bad. I don't even want to think about it. It was so bad. Ugh. But you need that to do that passage through up through the ice and stuff because
Right.
there
It's all
typically isn't
motoring,
any
right?
wind. Yeah.
What's the so after Azores then? Did you go down to the Canary Islands? Or?
No, just headed pretty much south towards Cape Verdes. I don't think I sighted the Cape Verdes. I don't think I was quite that close. And then I kept going south, and that was where I was really starting to lose my mind because that would have been early September. So there's a lot of hurricanes out there at
And
that
they all
point.
spin off right there.
A lot of them, yeah. And I think there was at one point there were like 5 out there in the Atlantic, and I'm out there in the Atlantic. So stress level is pretty hard. And knowing that, because those tropical waves, like you're saying, they start to spin up there. So they come off of Africa as these giant thunderstorms and then start to spin. And it's like, oh man, I'm going to have to tunnel right through all that. And there just wasn't, I don't know. There's just so much uncertainty with it all. And I'd been through the doldrums plenty of times, and I've been through the thunderstorms there. But these are a whole different, like the convection zones.
Oh, yeah, the height of hurricane season.
I went through one that was remarkable to see. It looked like 6 or 7 atomic bombs had gone off in these mushroom cloud type columns, and you could see the cloud just moving upward in this big column, and they were just like all around me, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But it's all like pristine white. It's not, nuclear fallout.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. So I was, that was probably one of the highlights of that entire trip.
Was the visuals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you did follow them back towards the Caribbean then at that point?
Eventually, yeah, I think by the time September came to a close, I'd made it down to the equator and then decided if I don't get off of this boat, I'm going to lose my mind. And even though I'm still way out in the middle of an ocean, having a direction and a destination was like a total game changer. The only trouble was I was basically cutting across this hurricane path in October because I finally landed, I think, around mid-October back on the East Coast. But it was sort of one of those things because of the COVID stuff. I was like, well, I know I can go back to my country.
Yeah.
Because I haven't checked in anywhere else, and I don't even have to clear customs. I can just go back.
Right.
And so that became sort of the game plan. And for whatever reason, Poseidon decided to halt all hurricanes for about 2 weeks, which is when I slid through.
Gosh.
And then I think I got in just before a pretty massive low pressure system came off the coast.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of, I don't know, it was meant to be. But
And so that was, where'd you end up?
I went back to Beaufort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the name of that boat you're in?
Well, that was a marina, Ladies Island Marina.
Oh,
I used to
okay.
bring the boat down there. After the trip around the world, that was like the first marina I kept it at when I stayed in the States. Because I went back to the Caribbean to write the book
Okay.
the winter after the trip around the world. But yeah, I don't know, man. And that's why Fort Pierce has been awesome. Like, I think you guys are the reason I came down here with the boat.
Yeah. Your first coaching gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
we've been together through it all.
yeah, you've been with us from getting here after our maiden voyage and not even wanting to leave the dock.
Yeah,
until
right.
we had,
From pivot turns to 2,000-mile offshore passages.
Yep. But isn't Fort Pierce, like, we're climbers and skiers from out west, so I always refer to Fort Pierce as like the Jackson Hole of the sailing world. It's like it doesn't really get much better on the East Coast as far as access to the Bahamas, and Fort Pierce has an inlet.
Yeah,
I mean,
and there's still that little like 16, 15-mile buffer between the shore or the inlet and the Gulf Stream.
Yep. So day sailing.
Yeah, you can go out, you can day sail, and like you said, yeah, it's kind of like a gateway. So I do like it. I mean, it's nice.
Because north of us is Cape Canaveral, and that's a mess with the cruise ships and the locks.
Yeah.
And then south of us, the next big inlet is West Palm Beach.
West Palm, yeah.
And so,
although I think you could go in and out of St. Lucie Inlet
and Jupiter.
yeah.
But
and
not I think a little riskier though.
A little riskier, yeah, because they definitely. I know St. Lucy's got definitely some shifting shoals and stuff inside of there. People bump off the bottom a lot.
Yeah.
You see that in YouTube videos for sure.
Yeah, and I think Jupiter's the same way,
but this one presents its own troubles because that sucker heaps up, as we found out back in the day. It heaps up real quick and gets steep, and it's narrow, so there's not much room for error.
No, you'd be on the rock so fast.
Oh my gosh, I know. Like coming in the last time on Sparrow with the engine malfunctioning, that was a bit of a pucker moment.
I bet.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I came in full mainsail. I was going to have like the staysail and everything. That was kind of one of my options. I was like, well, maybe I'll just sail in there and just don't even have the engine on. And then I don't have to worry about it. I can get in there but who knows? That whole time that I was in, there was a hove to or heaving to. I always screw that up. And I'm going to hear about it. People always email.
Dude, what are you doing out there?
I'm parking. That's my go-to. When I was parked on the ocean over in the lee of like between West End and Freeport, all day, all I was doing was working on the engine, trying to find what the issue was and all that stuff, and just hoping. And then I'd fire up the engine, and I'd be waiting, and then all of a sudden, oh, dang it. And I could never get it to sort out. But again, once I pulled that lift pump.
Yeah, right.
Seems
that was
to be
your
good.
That was your big project this winter in Fort Pierce.
One of them, yeah. Well, we had and I think it was kind of the age of the boat under my command. Like you get to, I think there's certain stages. Like obviously, for instance, with like safety gear, it's like every 5-6 years you gotta replace all the flares. You got to, update the life raft or get it repacked. And so you get these big ticket items. Like this year, my propane system failed. The refrigerator was definitely on the fritz. The engine was having its issues. And what was the other big
turtle
project?
box.
Oh, and the turtle box. Yeah. The marine ply or the plywood that was underneath it finally warped to a point. And I wasn't it was so because I was like, why is there friction? Like this should be easy to slide. And I think it had actually been starting to do that for quite some time. I just didn't realize what the issue was.
Right.
And
and you just tend to ignore things until they're critical.
Yeah, because I mean, the worst case scenario with that would have been that I can't open the companionway, or it like seizes up somewhere, either open or closed,
right? Which
would be a bad thing. So
yeah,
I like to be able to slide that sucker close, especially when a big wave is following me. Like wham!
Yeah,
there's a lot of that one video I put out, the devil wave.
Yeah.
So the comments in there are so funny. Somebody just did one that they were like, "What was the big hurry? You trying to go flip your steak down below or something?" Like, no, I didn't want to get totally. I mean, the coolest part about that, I wish the camera would have stayed on, but when I slapped it down, it stopped recording. But the sound, you hear the impact of the wave.
Yeah, and on video, it's just doesn't do it justice. I mean,
no, not at all.
It's so much bigger. Or you film it in a way that's bigger than it really is. I mean, it's just depending.
Yeah,
not in that situation, but
right.
You know how that.
It'd be pretty cool if I had the skill set with the drone to be in conditions like that and be able to fly a drone.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that would be pretty neat. Then you would get the scale of like the size of the swell compared to the boat and all that sort of stuff. But I've lost too many. 2 of them in the sea, and I can't. They're too expensive. They make those really tiny ones now. I don't know, and they're not very expensive, but I just don't know how they would work in 25, 30 knots of wind.
Yeah, and getting it back on board with all the stays and shrouds.
Oh, I know. Well, somebody told me once, they were like, what you can do is attach like fishing line to it, and essentially you let it out, and then when you want to bring it back in, you just reel it back in. All I could think of is like that line getting tangled up in its little rotors or something like that. But who knows? I'm not too worried about it.
No, that is drone footage is great footage, but it's generally done in calm conditions. So
Yeah.
hard to capture the drama.
Well, and not to like circle back to selling the boat and everything, but I am kind of interested. What were there like pitfalls or anything that was like, ugh, this is awful?
The process of selling.
Yeah.
No, nothing. The challenge was to just the uncertainty of preparing ourselves mentally to continue owning the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And
if it didn't sell, right,
and more from just a boat needs to be used and out on the water.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a good, we like Indiantown. It's a great place for hurricane season. It's inland. It's on the canal, so the flooding's controlled. We like the yard. We just didn't like the thought of owning a boat and having it be on the hard for a year.
You can't use it.
Yeah, and a boat, it should be out. I mean, we wanted the boat ultimately to be owned by somebody who was going to be able to use it.
Yeah.
And not just.
I think that's a pretty common sort of theme when an owner sells a boat, at least a boat that they enjoy and they love. They want to make sure it goes to the right person.
Yeah. And we feel good about the new owner for sure. He's a new sailor. He's going to follow up, I think, by taking the same bareboat charter class we took down in Fort Lauderdale. And then he talked to you already about some coaching potential.
Yep.
So yeah, we feel good about it. I think he's the right guy. And as far as I think no pitfalls other than just the mental, wow, is it going to sell? And how much are we going to sell it for? And things like that. I mean, we were prepared to carry it through the summer if we had to.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we don't.
No, I know. Like I said, I mean, that's got to be a pretty big relief when it finally does come through. Because I mean, did you have a lot of keel kickers?
I only showed the boat. The broker screened all the calls, but he's in Tennessee, in Panama City. So I told him when we listed, I don't expect you to do every showing. That was something we agreed on.
Right.
Because he was kind of hesitant. It's like, geez, I'm just so far away.
Right.
And I said, I'm close. I don't mind doing the showing. We just need you for the final, when it gets serious. And so he screened a bunch of calls, and then we only showed it to 2 people before the guy who bought it.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. But I think that goes to everything that was on the listing that we already talked about. Your video, Seth's video, Lady K Sailing. I don't know if you caught wind of that.
I saw that they had put a video up about it.
Yeah, that was just before the Annapolis show. And so the broker contacted Tim about that.
Oh, he did? Okay.
And it was interesting when I first saw that Lady K video because he's like,
is it
$150,000 for a what? Then when he talked about it, he was like, well, maybe this one is.
Yeah.
Because he recognized how exceptional of a boat it was.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Yeah. So that was cool. Because when I saw that, I'm like, uh-oh.
Backfire.
What's this video gonna be like? And it actually ended up being really gracious.
Yeah, well, and I think he used a lot of my footage for that one, which again, I mean, that helps because I think one of the things I hear from a lot of people is that they constantly get emails asking for more pictures. Like, can you take more pictures of this? Can you give me some pictures of that? And it's like to the point where it's like ridiculous every single day, and you just have to tell people no.
Right.
Or you just say I'm not near the boat. But
oh yeah, there was like so much documentation on Montana that, I mean, so anyway, I think the boat kind of sold itself.
Oh yeah,
and that's what the broker says. Like, he's like, be patient, hang in there. The right person is out there. Just hang in there. Be patient.
Be patient. You'll get
and that's the rule of boating.
Right.
Be patient. So.
Well, and kind of moving forward, off into the future. I know you got you and Stephanie have your game plans and stuff. But do you think there'll ever be a time where you return to a boat?
That's a good question.
Never know, right?
Never know. I think we'd probably be pretty hesitant right now, but as years go by and the memories fade to where all you remember is
the good stuff. Yeah. I go through that quite often, man.
The boat I miss the boat I miss the most is our Hobie Cat.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean,
they're fun.
That was our training boat while we lived in Montana.
Yeah.
And
and where were you sailing it on Montana?
we were sailing on a lake, Kukanusa. It was like a
okay.
reservoir, like up by the Canadian border.
Yeah.
It's super windy.
Right.
And it's narrow. It's kind of like it's basically the Kootenai River that's been flooded with a dam.
Okay.
So it's not that wide, but it's
Right.
50 miles long. But we had a great spot where we enjoyed camping. We could launch it, had protection. We could zip out there, go up and down the canyon.
Zip right back. Yeah.
It was awesome.
Well, they are. I mean, I would very confidently say that Hobie Cats have gotten their hooks into people as far as like for sailing.
Yeah.
Like that's the boat that I started on, and from the moment I hopped on that thing, I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Right.
I love it.
Right.
I love it. And then it led to all this other stuff. So.
Yeah. So really, that's like, I'd say of all, that's the boat I probably miss the most. Just because, when you're done, you just collapse it and put it away and it's ready for the next time.
What do you think about, because I often ponder as I get older and, the solo offshore sailing becomes probably less and less. Just because, I don't know, I think when you get to a point where you've done so much of it, I don't want to say it gets boring by any means, but you've been through 1,000 squalls and you've been through a number of gales and calms and this and that and the other thing. But I still love being on a boat. I love living in like marinas and sort of the freedom to be able to, like, if you're like, oh man, I want to go to the Caribbean and I can just take the whole house down there. But I go back and forth between if the future is mostly just the up and down the East Coast with the hurricane season and then possible trips out maybe to the Bahamas or something like that, whether I would try and just get a bigger version of like a Westsail, something old school classic, but in the 40, 50 foot range. Obviously, it would have to be a project boat or flop over like Sam Holmes did and do a catamaran.
Full on catamaran, yeah.
Because they have so much space.
Yeah.
They cost a lot more, but.
And they're flat. And
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed the Hobie Cat for the Hobie Cat, but had no question that I was going to be on a monohull.
Monohull,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just like the classic, traditional, everything. And I mean, what's more traditional than a Westsail 32? I mean,
That's
double ender
true.
and all that.
They're pretty classy. Well, I don't know if you saw just across the way, though. I think that's a Tiana 37. They just pulled in yesterday.
Nice. Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a gentleman who bought one. So fun. It's such a small world. And I guess, I don't know, between the podcast and all the YouTube stuff, I guess it makes sense that some of these previous and new owners overlap and then I get to meet them all. But a gentleman that I went down to Florida years ago to help with his Tiana 37, I get a call from another guy who had bought a Tiana 37 up in New Bern. And he's like, yeah, I got to try and figure out how to use it and all this stuff. And he wants to, possibly do some coaching and stuff. And I was like, what's the name of that boat? Because I kind of knew. I was like, I think the previous owner bought his up there. And it's the same exact boat. And I'm like, oh my gosh, holy cow.
Well, it's cool to think that going forward, you're going to probably have more time on Montana.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun.
Wouldn't that be wild?
It would
like
be.
A whole new owner, a whole new going through it again with somebody can't even get off the dock.
Yep. Be like, all right, check it out. Let me show you this. And that'll be the nice part. Because, you guys were, I think, my very first in-person coaching.
Yeah.
You guys were the start of it.
Right.
And so, I've been teaching sailing for decades, but this is it was just different. You're on somebody else's boat. It's not the sailing school's boat. And I don't know, it presents some interesting, I think, challenges, but also some benefits too, because, one, if something breaks on the boat, I look at you and I'm like, dude, what's going on?
Yeah.
Instead of, you looking at me being like, dude, what's going on? These boats are crap. No, but it's cool. Like I said, I really like to watch people gain confidence on their own vessel. There's something so that just warms my heart. It's so cool.
I'm sure as an instructor. Yeah.
When I saw that smile on Steph's face when the winds had shifted on the east side of the Abacos, and she's up there, and it's still rainy, but like everything's good now because we're not getting blown in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
The level of stoke on her face was like, oh my God, she's loving this.
Yeah.
Now.
Day 4.
I mean, we were all so sick of just bashing into that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good luck, dude, going forward, because what you're doing is fantastic. I mean, it's like what you're offering to people.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're good at it. You're really good at it.
Thank you.
What you have coming up with Sailing with Phoenix and with Oliver is pretty exciting.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I mean, that's about as intensive as it's going to get. I would think, as far as, the expertise that I can offer to somebody, that would be like the top level of like, I want to go and do a solo nonstop. And I've done some virtual coaching with a few of the people that either were or are still in the Golden Globe this year.
Oh yeah.
But it never got to a point where I was going to fly out and hop on their boat and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
And I think partly just because they had the experience level already, whereas, with Oliver, he's starting from scratch in a lot of ways. I mean, he has the trip out to Hawaii and stuff, but there's a whole lot between sailing, seamanship, and just the mental aspects of what he's trying to do.
Yeah. Well, how cool that this world, puts you in touch with such motivated and kind of unique, exceptional people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great story.
Are you patting yourself on the back there a little?
No, I'm thinking about all the people. I actually was not thinking that.
I'm just messing. You are, by the way.
I was thinking more like how we were talking earlier about the Westsailers that we've met, and stuff. It's cool. That's kind of like, that's the spice of life, as people who are living outside the box a little bit
and chasing their dreams too.
And you're helping people. The impact that you're having on people is awesome.
Oh, thank you. Well, the impact that they have on me is equally as wonderful, I would say, because I get to just the network just kind of keeps growing and growing, and I stay in touch with people, not for any sort of financial gain, but just because it's cool. I get to kind of be part of their adventures, and when they send me, like when you and Steph sent me the picture of your route into the Bahamas, it's like, oh heck yeah, that's so cool. Like you feel proud, Right. It's like, oh, that's awesome. And so right now, I mean, there's a bunch of different sailors doing a bunch of different stuff that I've at least at one point interacted with and helped them get to the point where they're doing it. And, like we were talking about the other day, my first question typically, if I, when we have like our feeler call, or our initial call, is like, what's the dream? What are you trying to accomplish here? And you start with that. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people in this world, I think, the dream is to work until they're 65 and then go after their dreams. And these people that I'm typically working with, they're like, I'm going after it right now.
Right.
No time to waste.
And that's so true.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of me, though, that's always like, oh, man, one day somebody is going to come bite me in the ass. Like,
yeah.
He's going to come stomping over to Sparrow and be like, dude, that was the worst experience of my life.
No, it's a whole new world, and anyone who's a sailor has got to take responsibility ultimately.
It's true.
I mean, you're responsible for your crew and your boat.
Yeah,
that doesn't matter.
And we have to take care of these old vessels, that's for sure.
Yeah,
because they take care of us.
Yeah, especially these Westsails.
Ah, yes they do. Yes they do. Well, it's going to be. I'm looking forward to getting out there. I mean, yeah, I kept looking at the forecast because obviously we were going to try and get out there today, but the seas because it just kept blowing all night last night. It was still blowing, and then finally it started to calm down today. But those seas are still going to be
Yeah, this morning it was
6 to
20
8
foot
feet.
north winds, 6 to 8 foot seas.
Jeez.
That's
Yeah.
just what a Westsail's built for. So
Yeah,
so
this
what's
isn't
the plan?
wet, though.
What's
Ew.
going on with you now?
I think the game plan is to take off tomorrow. Sea state will start to just drop right down, and not that I'm like obviously too worried about it, but at the same time I'm kind of like, well, I'm writing every day. It's not an inconvenience to just be here tied to the dock, and I'm not looking for like the perfect freaking forecast. And still, if I leave Saturday, then and head northeast and just try and get across the stream. But I think Tuesday there's going to be northwest or northeasterly winds, right on the nose, blowing 20 plus knots for at least 12 hours or something like that. The forecast 2 days ago was showing 30 something knots blowing for 24 hours, which I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Because I can't keep postponing.
Right.
I got to go out there.
Right. So you're going to try to cross and go north of the Abacos again?
I think this time I'm probably going to stay out of the Bahamas completely. And when I come back, I'll probably rip across if I'm up north, near like Charleston or something like that, or even Jacksonville, then I'll cut across and I might pull into one of those spots for a night or two and then make my way south. 'Cause it looks like, the winds aren't wrapping out of the south very much right now.
Right.
Like I think
Just a
even
brief couple days coming up.
Yeah.
Just enough for you to get across, probably.
And then it's all just easterlies.
Yeah.
And which I can cross the stream in an easterly of blowing 20 knots. It's fine. As long as I'm crossing the stream where it's running north to south. It'll be sloppy, but it won't be dangerous. And so as soon as I get into the stream, then it's it's kind of that north-south stuff. And like I said, we've got a pretty big buffer, especially the further north you get.
Yeah.
You get 75, 100 miles of non-Gulf Stream.
Right. Could even be
So-
a reverse current with the eddy, maybe.
Yeah. So, and there are a few. We're possibly going to do some talks up in Melbourne at a couple of schools, and then there's also the possibility of a friend of mine, Joseph, coming down and meeting me somewhere and hopping out for a few days. But the thing is with stuff like that, you never know what's actually going to happen because schedules change and things don't work out. So I'm kind of trying to pile up a bunch of different things, and we'll see what actually comes to fruition. But I'm going to be in between. I'm going to be in my own little triangle between here, the Abacos, and I guess Cape Hatteras is my little playground.
Nice. In like
Yeah.
a week to 10 days, something like that.
Yeah, so ideally be back here right in the beginning of April. If the talks go off, that'll be, that'll give me a few days to settle the boat back in here and then zip up to Melbourne. And then if we end up just going sailing again, then it might be one of those things where we sail from here up to Beaufort, because Colin, he'll be back on his boat by about the 7th of April. So I definitely want to overlap with him. So
Awesome.
yeah, I don't know. Some fun things, but nothing. It's kind of weird. Nothing concrete 100%. So I'm a little in limbo, and that's kind of why I'm like, well, I want to just get out there and do some sailing now.
Right.
That way,
Everything will, when it comes time to.
yeah, then I can go and do whatever I need to do and have the boat here. Because like I said, I've got the slip until the 15th.
Perfect, man.
And then it's time to go north anyway.
Awesome.
But yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, Mark. This is great, dude.
Hey, it's a good closure. It's awesome, dude. It's
Full
like
circle, dude.
You're such a huge part of our 3 years that we've had with that boat. Huge. So I encourage anybody who's wanting to get some training, check out Jerome.
Nice. Well,
Definitely.
thank you.
All right.
And thank you for including me in it. I mean, it was definitely a little emotional for me to see the boat yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
I know Steph lost it, and my
Yeah.
heart was I already had gone through all the emotions, so I'm like, I just got to be here and execute.
Right.
I
Yeah.
can't. But it was hard to actually make that phone call to you initially and tell you what we were doing. You sounded really surprised. So.
Because I think part of me was expecting to hear from you about like, okay, this year we're gonna make it to Bermuda. And then it was
Instead,
the
it's
opposite, and I was like, whoa, what? Huh?
Yeah.
But hey, you know.
Well, you had good advice. You were like, hey, if you know it in your heart, the mistake people make is knowing it in their heart that it's time for a change.
Yeah.
But not being willing to admit that. And
Well, because you got that cool guy factor.
well,
Of like, dude, I got a boat and I go for
Yeah.
these rips, but deep down inside, I don't really enjoy doing it anymore, and it's not my thing.
yeah. So, moment of truth.
Hey,
But-
that's good.
But everything that we had done was awesome experiences. So thank you.
Hey, pleasure was all mine, and thanks for sharing on the podcast again. I don't know what it'd be interesting to find out what episode our first podcast was. It's probably back in like the 200s.
Yeah, and you're like
This will be like 416, 417.
awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Great to see it.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
All right.
Now at the Home Depot, receive 12 months special financing and free basic installation on carpet projects with LifeProof with pet-proof technology, Home Decorators Collection, and Traffic Master carpets. Bring a new look to your floors, or give them a durable surface that stands up to life's tough messes. Get 12 months special financing on installed carpet projects right now at the Home Depot. Offer valid March 12th through March 29th, 2026. Exclusions and additional charges may apply. For licenses, see homedepot.com/license numbers.
Bank of America champions everyone who dares to ask, what would you like the power to do? As a coach to 16 competitors in Augusta National Women's Amateurs, I ask myself this question every season. To help my athletes keep their eye on the ball, far beyond any course they play. Bank of America is proud to be a presenting partner of the Augusta National Women's Amateur.
Bank of America N.A. member FDIC.
Having the right people in your corner for life's biggest milestones makes all the difference. Like a friend who's there when you're house hunting or checking out a new ride, State Farm is there too, helping you choose the coverage you need. With a State Farm agent, you know someone is there to help you along the way. And with so many coverage options, it's nice knowing you have help choosing a plan that fits your needs, so you can continue celebrating all of life's milestones. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your place works hard, just like you do. From last night's dinner to everyday messes, you want a clean that actually delivers. Lysol kills 99.9% of viruses and bacteria on surfaces, and now leaves behind a fresh lavender scent you'll actually love. Disinfecting wipes handles phones, remotes, and everyday surfaces. The all-purpose cleaner keeps kitchens and bathrooms in check, and the Power Toilet Bowl Cleaner disinfects the brush and bowl for 2-in-1 disinfection. Strong clean, great smell, no extra effort. Don't just clean, Lysol Clean.
Sometimes you want the full cocktail experience and the freedom to say yes to more the next day. That's where Ritual Zero Proof comes in. These high-quality alcohol alternatives are crafted to bring the bite, flavor, and vibe of real spirits without the alcohol. Mix an agave spirit margarita, pour an aperitif spritz, or sub in whatever fits your go-to. Each one swaps in ounce for ounce, zero proof, and low to no calories. More flavor, more moments, no trade-offs. Ditch the rules, keep the ritual. Find yours at ritualzeroproof.com.